What is up, guys? Today I'm bringing you a AP Jungle Shaco guide and going over the items, ruins, masteries. So we're just going to jump right in. If you want to play Shaco, you need to know how to play them. So here you go. We're going to start off with items and ruins, and then I'm going to show you some gameplay because Shaco can be an S tier or absolute garbage if you don't know what you're doing. And with AP Shaco, it's more of a psychology almost to how you want to play them rather than just straightforward. So looking at items, the build is going to be Blackfire, Torch, and Leandries are your core items in this build because they're going to give you a lot of damage and a lot of burn. That essentially your box is your main weapon, with your E being an okay execute if they're low HP, but really a lot of it is your boxes. So this is going to give you lots of ticks of damage and HP. And then after that, we've got some options. So you can get Crit Bloom if you want to just have more penetration. So if you're going against tanks and you just need more moves, then this is your good sort of anti-tank pick. This can also be good and just is going to help you finish off low HP targets, and you have so much burn. So that's where that's really clutch. I kind of like these three together. If you are against teams that have a high AD, then obviously Zhonya's is a clutch pick. You can also use this to give some cooldown time for your Q to get away. And then if they are MR, or if they have a lot of AP and you are looking for magic resist, then Banshee's Veil is probably your item with that shield just helping you in a pinch. Some MR and more AP. And if you just obviously want a ton more AP, you can go with Rabadons. I would say Shadow Flame is probably the best here in combination. You can do cooldown boots as well as going for Magic Pen. So those are your options when it comes to the build. It's pretty straightforward. Now looking at ruins and what you want with those. And so just to go here, his ruins are pretty straightforward, and you're going to keep these for the most part with a couple choices. So Arcane Comment, that's going to give you a lot of extra damage. I like Mana Flow Band because I like to be able to spam your moves and spam boxes, and I just never want to like run. You'll learn with Shaco over time. You just want to be out on the field, and you don't necessarily need a ton of health, but you do need to be able to put down boxes as much as possible. An alternative is Axiom Arcanist for the alt cooldown rate, but I would pick between one of these two. If you find your mana is fine, go with Axiom Arcanist, and if you're sick of maybe not having as much mana as you want, try Mana Flow Band. Transcendence is going to be obvious because the next thing that Shaco needs is haste. And so this is all just going to be very helpful at getting Qs back and boxes and all that stuff. I go for Gathering Storm because that AP is going to make a difference. And then in the Precision Tree, we want Legend Haste. That is very important because that's going to give us more ability haste. I go for Cut Down. You could say this either way, except for maybe like Last Stand. I like Cut Down because oftentimes your goal with Shaco, as you'll see in the gameplay, is whittling them down with boxes until they're at a spot where you just come up Q and E and maybe drop another box on their head. But AP Shaco is really about luring them into bad situations, and that's why he has, you could say, a low skill of a floor, but the skill ceiling is massive. Because it's just so much mental outplay that you need that on. So we're going to jump into the game so I can show you what some of that looks like, although I am not the best Shaco in the world, guys, but if you are new to Shaco, then this is going to help you just get an idea. I played a lot of games as him, and some of them are great, and then some of them are just incredibly frustrating if you don't know how to play them, because you see that thing of him or Yi or any of these guys, and someone else locks in and you get wrecked, and then you lock in and you suck, and that's not fun. I guess for other ruins, they are maybe a small deal. I did end up going for, does it show me? I took 8 ability haste. It's got AD right now, but that's adaptive damage. That'll switch to AP. And then just 65 base health, because I just want that base health earlier. So first things first, as Shaco, you can pre-prep your camps, and we're just going to start off with this. So you can just put as many boxes as possible here. And I do kind of like to stack them a little bit further away. Didn't really do it here with this one, but sometimes I can just make it nicer where you can run it over if you don't necessarily need it. But this is your essential Shaco opener. Just hit them with a bunch of boxes. Try to get those backstabs as I run around and then just get tired of it. And I'm like, sure, whatever. And then from there, you're just heading to your second camp. Shaco's really good at clearing. And it's where it gives you a bit of that thing that you are better out on the field. If you're playing Shaco and you're, trying to power clear, he's good at clearing, but his real strength is just being, that ever-present thing. Him and Teemo sort of share some similarities. And especially when it comes to jungle, not that obviously Teemo's a good jungler, but people do it. And the best way to do it is you want to get to a spot where you are essentially living in their jungle and placing your boxes at critical points. So if you were trying to take their blue, place a box here, maybe another box here. And then once you've done that, and you can even be doing the blue as that's happening, and then just have it so that they come this way, box, box, box. They just can't get you. And that's really what you want to do. So level 3, looking for a gank, but this Teemo is just not really doing much. So I leave for mid. And your starting order, you're going to take box first, box, and then Q, and then E. And so as far as your ganks go, and you'll see this more as time goes on, say you gank here, it really is just trying to get that box in the right spot. And that's why I say Shaco is so great, but also can be absolutely miserable, because until you learn to place those boxes, you are not going to have those games where you're like, oh man, Shaco is just so crazy. So came in here, tried to get him again, walked into it, but we just couldn't quite finish it off, which sucked. But we left because didn't want to die. I really wanted to get a good game as Shaco because I had some crappy ones. He just is a unique champion to play, and especially AP Shaco. ADs kind of just run out backstab, but AP Shaco just has that huge head game threat of being able to come out of nowhere. Your E's a lot stronger, but really those boxes, as you get to the spot where you're essentially living in their jungle and just placing boxes, you can start to go and just clear their jungle, and you've got a box to always run back to. That's how you want to have it. A box to run forward to or to back to. And if you've got no box, you're probably boned. I don't know how he didn't. Okay, that was so close. But that's what a lot of it is with Shaco, is just getting that trickery down, which is why I say if you really want to play him, this is a champion to kind of main. I would score him probably an A. I know a lot of people, if you're amazing at him, he's S+. If you are just okay with him, he is a A, maybe even B+ tier if you're really like not that good. So expect that when you first play him. It's gonna take you time to just learn your limits and what you can get away with, and then some of it's just luck of like, that idiot ran to that box. And some people are wary or timid, or they just really know Shaco and they don't fall for your tricks. And that's where he can feel kind of frustrating, because outside of the boxes, you really don't have a whole lot of damage. You have no auto attack damage because you're AP, and then your E they need to be low on HP for that to be significant at all. But your clears do come pretty quick, and you can be a major threat as you play him more and realize to, like, after you get your Blackfire Torch, and your ultimate, you should basically not be in your jungle. You should be in their jungle is your jungle, and that is how you win as Shaco. Because you get them to this spot where every bush could have a box in it, and that gets really annoying really fast. And then once the box hits, you're also just waiting like, oh, is he gonna get me? Because like I got all that gold from that, didn't clear the camp, but like, look, he just popped a bunch of stuff trying to get it. And that's what's gonna happen. People are gonna overreact and underreact to what you're doing. Overreacting to boxes, which you are spamming, and then underreacting to just your potential to teleport behind them or juking them, like running this way and actually just using your Q to go back. So that's where the skill floor is like, it's very game wide. If you really want to play them, then go for it. If you just want to try them and you're not really the most skilled jungler, boom, thank you, Cho'Gath, then I would highly recommend that you play just someone big and tanky, Xin Cho'Gath. Go play them, check out the guides, because Shaco is a lot about just head games. Like, I'm just end up wasting so much time for him here. I'm gonna back, he hits the trap. Then he keeps on coming. He's got nothing. But then you can just sit there and you kind of waste time, but Shaco wastes time really well because he can clear fast. So if you are behind, my thought process is do your first couple initial clears, try to be a nightmare. If you find yourself getting behind, just go full clear your jungle, and then once that's done, just go right back to ganking and making their jungle your jungle. That is the way to play Shaco, is because it's just all head games. He's really not that amazing of a champ, just as far as his kit. It's the stuff that you'll see if you wait till the end, because I totally get one of those Shaco moments that just leaves you infuriated. But if it was up to me, I would probably say right now, Singed is a similar but more favorite pick, where people will run to kill you, except this time you're not squishy, and they can't. And so I'm going to be doing a guide on Singed jungle, because I feel like it's really strong, and he's just a character I love for similar reasons to why you might want to be a Shaco jungler. So here we go. As you can see, great clear time. Does not really worry about any of that. So I am going to speed this up a bit because this is a brief game, but it does sort of show you, especially once you get to mid-game, I say that's where Shaco kind of takes off as far as just a general roaming character. Good ganks pre, but see, so this is what you want to watch for, guys. So I'm going to slow this down and just kind of show you, which is not huge, but they're going for a gank on this Teemo. And so I immediately go to set up a box here, because he's going to come there. There's no other way he can. And that is what you want to be using, is putting boxes in obvious paths. Because he just sits there. I set a second one. He gets knocked up. Knifed. Done for. And that's where Shaco starts to get really strong, as you get that black fire torch, and as you get... why can't I see my items? A little shift. As you get that black fire torch, and as you get Leandries, then that becomes the overwhelming power that is Shaco. So now I'm at the spot where I'm like, okay, your jungle's my jungle, and I'm just going to try to stay in here. Your clone can obviously be a good guard for you, and a good little trick to get you either more time, get a gank off, or just have them focusing on something else in the jungle. And that's what I was going to do here, is just going to try to run them up here, because what you want to do a little bit is use obviously your clone as a decoy to try to get them to run into more boxes, because that's really what gets people, is just having this trail in different directions and mental jukes with your Q. The better you get at that, the more you're going to just die laughing, because Shaco just feels so OP. But that's where, like, not entirely, because you just have those moves. So know that the best way to play it is not that, what I just did right there. You really need to become a nightmare in their jungle. And then your ganks as the game goes on is really smart too. Say someone's pushing up mid, then you want to come back here, ideally between minion waves, and try to start dropping some boxes. Oftentimes you'll have a teammate come up this way, and you set up a minefield of boxes. Let's back this up. Could be interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna back that up one more time. So here we go. So I pop my clone because I know this Graves is coming. And so I just want him to go on the clone. He blows everything up. Surprise. He's getting hit. Now he's going to get knocked up. And if I coulda, woulda, I just got that Q in there to E him and try to execute. Setting up another box. Going the other way. He's right there. That's a dummy move. Come back into that, but that box works well there. And not gonna get him, guys. I was so close. And that's where the meteor is really good because it can just give you that little moment at the end. If I was a little bit stronger, that E would have roasted him. So back here, and maybe I'll just put this camera on myself as I go to just talk more Shaco. So can use boxes like that. Obviously you want to use your knife. We're trying to pull this out here a little bit more. This is where you can use his clone. His clone is really great. I'm gonna slow down. Crazy. Bam, bam. Okay, so I use his clone to dodge a move, and then I just try to get my clone into their team as much as I can. Unfortunately, got knocked out. But your clone is going to basically be a box, so you can use that in an interesting way to tower dive if they're really low. Because if you tower dive and you proc that explosion, then that's huge damage that comes out of that. Boom, boom, boom. That's done. Gonna mop him up. What a dummy. I don't know why he came back there. Boom, I went back. But again, just using that clone to keep them down. Guys, what a silly guy. If he hadn't got him, I'd have jumped over this wall. Okay, so continuing back. So now it's 13 minutes in. This was a Swift, so imagine it being 16 minutes in. You should have your Blackfire Torch if you've done at all well with your kills. And here I am going just for one more full clear before I get to the spot where their jungle is your jungle. That's what you need to do as Shaco. Otherwise, you just don't really have any pressure, and that is where the goodness of Shaco is in the fear. And just wondering, like, where is he? I'm sure at this point, and as the game goes along, oh, nice. And I think that was just all him. And so here I come in and just get your entrances, right? Boom, there he goes. That's some chip damage. It's a little bit annoying. He's going to go for the next gank. Boom, he's slowed if he comes back here. And so that just keeps on happening. And because of that chip damage, like I said, he's dead. And that's why I like the more damage at start, because often enough, that's how you're going to end up being the biggest use in killing force to your team, is just people running into boxes and having a decent portion of their health. And then between Leandries and Torch, you can whittle them down to half health with one box. And so that just makes that more effective. And that's why I kind of prefer that. But you could really swing that either way to be execute or high HP damage. Probably just would not really take it for last stand when you are low. And so here we go. Again, I could have used my clone, my box right off the hop, but you don't want to do that because you're not really durable, guys. And if you don't have the moves, you're just gonna not really cut it. because you don't have your cooldowns and everything's all in your clones. So here I am, just come back. And then this is what I'm talking about here, where say he were low, then you can go in and just run your clone under tower. Say there's a minion wave, you would actually attack him. So the tower attacks your clone, and if they're low, boom, that happens right next to them, they're dead. Here I go, going in and trying to get some damage, but you can't get much because your E's not really very good for anything, but then you get this. You know, and he hits one, and he almost gets another, so close. But at this point, he's wary, but not wary enough. So see that? You drop the box behind them as often as you can, so that as they try to run away, the box is just getting max damage, and they'll have to reroute or run right through the box, which is usually a death sentence.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Your box on a Raptors camp, you'll notice like this so easy. Even if I had no smite that it's just gone in seconds, and it's kind of nice because you can actually be right here and plant your box here and just clear that camp, and then it'll run over this way. By the time the box is done doing what it's doing, an E to the main Raptor probably secures the whole camp. If not, getting all the little Raptors for you with just a click, and you can run away as that's happening because they're going to aggro the box. And some people you'll even see like they'll just make a trail. But this is what I'm talking about, and this is why I like the one that does damage when they're high health, because you're just chipping away and chipping away. And he's kind of checking around for camps, and you can just tell over time there's just that extra fear that every bush might have a box in it or could have a Shaco around the corner. And that's just a really great way to slow someone down for like no real trade-off there. And then so we get a setup, and this is pretty much the final spot, but really one of the key kind of takeaway ways that Shaco can just be so great. So here I go, coming over. I see him, and I just start laying the traps because people go through this box or this bush and here and here. So that means if you just set all this up with boxes, which might take you a minute or two, which is totally fine while you're clearing their jungle, if possible, then this just becomes a thing. And you're just like, bro, would you leave me alone? But you don't, because now... See, and I'm just trying to run, and he knows that, which is fine and fair. So I popped back out to kind of get aggro, and now it starts. They come for me, but there's a box. They get hit by Cho. He gets them. She sees me, goes to fly through, so close, gets feared again. And then you get away. And that is just how it rolls with Shaco most of the time. But that is just so much planning, guys. So I hope this kind of helps you get a mindset of how you want to be using AP Shaco. Because if you play it like AD, it's going to be super frustrating. And you're not going to do anything. And if you play him just as some other champion, you're not going to get it. It's really about exploiting routes and getting your boxes in the right spot until you're just big and strong enough that they are just constantly worried. And really just getting that concept of placing boxes where you think people are going to want to go, whether that's if you're pushing up to a tower, say it's this tower, put some boxes behind you so you can retreat to those boxes, or here so you can retreat. So boxing your exits so that you can't be followed, and then just boxing your assumed pathways, which is honestly kind of easy, but takes time, and of course you need people to take them. So that's where, for a low elo champ, I'm not huge on Shaco, but if you really want to main him and you're interested in playing him, I would recommend you start here. So I hope that helps, guys. Please do like and subscribe if you've made it this far. It really does help. I am just trying to get a lot of different junglers out right now. And so that's where just trying to get these videos in. If there's anybody you'd like to see a video on, then that is obviously doable, and I'd love to. So just post it in the comments, and that's the plan. I'm really looking forward to doing a Darius. Zen is quite strong right now. Nocturne I do enjoy sometimes, maybe not my favorite, but he can be strong. And Singed. I do feel like Singed is soon to be a hyper carry, kind of sleeper of a jungler that most people don't realize that. But if he just gets one more little buff, he's going to be so strong. Because now that kiting camps is a thing, you can literally run in like mid to late game, just hit it once and then run and then run, and that's just cinched. You're just running around with full gas the whole time, and it's really hard to stop. So stay tuned for that because that could be a jungler that is just soon to be insane. I wouldn't be surprised if you see any sort of AP buff, tank buff, or just singed buff or singed item buff. He is going to blast to S tier. So stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys around. Thanks for watching.